Good afternoon. My name is Guillermo Morero, and I'll be talking about animal and crops for humanity. First slide, the importance of crops. Crops play a vital part to our nutritional needs that cannot be found elsewhere. Other products such as meat and dairy do not have the same nutritional values that you can find in plants such as vegetables, fruits, and grains. Therefore, they play a vital role to your everyday needs of food. Second point, can be grown in large quantities for human population. Due to advances in technologies, more plants are able to be harvested within a smaller plot of land. Due to the fact that we have genetically bred our plants for the fruit of the plant to be bigger while the plant itself remains small. Therefore, we can make the most out of what we have, be more efficient with the land, so we're not taking up all these unnecessary land. Third point, a large variation of crop species. There are an abundance of different fruits, vegetables, grains, and etc. that are just vast quantities. And each of their own have their own nutritional values and sizes. Fourth point, it provides feed for livestock. We can eat meat all day if we want, but we still need to grow plants regardless, because those plants are what the livestock are going to eat. More often than not, we're not eating predators, so we have to eat we eat herbivores. So those herbivores need to eat something, even if it's just grass. But at the end of the day, we have to provide them with feed during those times where grass is not available for them. Last point, can be used other than food. So crops can be grown for fabrics, biofuels, or medical uses. Right here shows a nutritional facts chart for different plants. It's just a little small picture of what vegetables and fruits and all that can provide for us. Right here is a picture of biofuels such as corn that's used in ethanol. And right here to the right is cotton that it can be used for fabric. Highly used here, especially around here in the town of Lubbock. Right here is an example. This is weed. It is used for medical purposes in states that it's legal. It has effects that can help ease your mind and different symptoms. Now we're to our next point, which is the importance of animals. Animals or livestock play an important role in our nutritional needs, which is the biggest one would be protein. Protein is something that's not high in quantity in plants, but is in abundance in meat. Can be raised and bred to be more than from less. In other words, we have bred livestock to be large, just much bigger than they used to be. And in a way, they get more feed to meat ratio. So we can feed them this much food and we're getting this much meat back as a product. Meat can be gathered from a wide selection of different animals, each with their own taste. There's different types of meat that we have eat. So we have cows, goats, chickens, pigs, any kind of poultry, and lambs. Fourth point, can be harvested from wild animals as well. Game meat is considered can be livestock. There's it's this essence of growing bison, deer for meat production, and they have their own ways. And just going out on the rangeland can also provide you with that kind of meat. Last point, can animals can produce different resources. Different resources such as eggs from poultry, whether that's ducks, turkeys, ostriches, or chickens. Can be fur, leather, bones. Bones are very important. They have calcium needed, and they can be used for dog treats and all that such. And then lastly, dairy products. Here are some examples of what kind of nutritional values each different kind of meats have. This is eggs, bones, fur, leather, milk, and cheese. Thank you. Have a nice day. Good afternoon. Today I'll be talking about food insecurities. One of the first aspects about food security that contributes will be food quality. Plants have changed drastically over time due to breeding to become more durable and larger. So if you take an example of corn, corn used to be a small, almost grass-like wheat plant, and then if you look at what it is today, you can tell the drastic change from it. That is due to breeding, and we also made them more durable, so they don't rot as quickly as they used to. And with crops being more durable, they can go longer without going to waste. That just contributes to the quality of the food itself. In place, and then third point, in places such as food deserts, the time it takes to get there is long, and depending on the crop, is too bit too long. So, if not due to high quality food, it probably wouldn't even be able to make there whatsoever. Lastly, GMOs, GMO plants can help elongate food life. So, modified organisms make contribution to how durable plants can be because we're scientifically making them stronger. Most people have an issue with GMO plants. Me personally, as long as it does what it needs to do, sounds like a good job to me. This is right here. To the photo to the right is a picture of how corn used to look like, and then the picture right next to it is what it looks like right now. The tomato plant is an example of what GMOs can do to plants. Food quantity, so how much food we have. Due to the increase of agricultural technology and performance, food is being produced in a vast quantity. So we're able to plant more food in a smaller plot of land, just making far more efficient than it used to be. This contributes to, like, we just have so much food we don't even know what to do with. And then large portions of land is being used for agricultural purposes. So even though we can utilize plants in a small plot of land, we still contribute a lot of our land here in the U.S. to agriculture purposes. Food quantity is a picture of how vast these lands can be, and then technology right here, making more efficient for. Lastly, we're going to be talking about food distribution. The transportation of crops is undoubtedly the cause for food insecurity. So it's not about whether we have low quality food or we don't have enough food crops being grown to for people to eat. It's just solely based on distribution. Transportation, most of these plants sometimes can go bad before they can get there. And then second point, it takes time for these foods to transport to certain location. So certain locations are just super far away from these farms, which just makes it much longer in the transportation process, which gives it the ability to rot. Lastly, the economical situation also plays. If people can't afford the food, they won't get the food. It's just simple as that. So economy has a very big part into whether people can get food or not. Lastly, we'll be talking about the U.S. government solutions that the U.S. government has put. So the U.S. government provides food for its citizens by providing them with food stamps, which can allow them to get the food they need, the necessities for life, the unalienable rights. And for sending food for foreign affairs, we usually the U.S. is not one to hesitate to send food. That's usually the first thing we do when we have any kind of aid for foreign countries, and they just giving food out is how they do the best. Thank you. Good afternoon. Today I'll be talking about bees. Bees themselves bees play a large part in agriculture. Most people don't assume what bees play in agriculture, but in reality they do. They can even be considered livestock as themselves, since they provide food resources and we're raising them to do that, which makes them fall under the livestock definition. The food they make for us, they produce honey, which could be used as food, cosmetics, or medicine. You've seen those products for your hair that have honey in it. Honey can play a lot of parts into beauty, so they use it in beauty products a lot, and medicine as well. They when you have a cough, you make that lemon lime juice to make you feel a little better that day. So they have a medical purpose as well. They also produce beeswax and pollen. Beeswax is used to make your clothes water resistant in some cases, and pollen is used for pollinating your plants so they can reproduce and make seedlings. Here's some pictures of honey on to the right and then the pollen to the left. Services from bees. Bees do not only just provide resources, but they can also provide services for us. So bees not only produce resources, but provide services as well. Without these services, many plants, including crops, would not be able to reproduce or survive. So without bees and the pollen, how are plants to continue to live and reproduce if there's no bees to get that pollen for them? So bee services, pollination, and therapy. Here are pictures of some bees pollinating, and then threats to bees. So big contributors to threats would be weather, so any kind of storm, sudden storm, and all that, um, rain, high winds, all that weather that plays a factor that can easily destroy them. Climate change, like pollution, whatever we're doing, we're increasing the heat of the earth, which makes it a more inhabitable place for bees. And in the winter it gets super cold, which also destroys their colonies. And then pesticide, we spray it everywhere for the bugs that we don't like, but we don't really realize what it does to the bugs we need. It just destroys them. So we need to start taking care of our bees more so that they can do the jobs that we need them to do. Because without the bees, a lot of ecosystems here can start going into disasters. Thank you. You have a nice day.